A 17-year-old black teen walked proudly toward his business class seat, his dreadlocks gleaming like a crown he had cared for years. But in seconds, that pride was ripped away. A flight attendant blocked his path, scissors flashing under the cold lights of the cabin. Strands of his heritage fell to the floor as humiliation spread through the aisle. Passengers gasped. Phones recorded. But what happened next would ignite a firestorm that left an entire airline begging for survival. The boarding gate at Atlanta International buzzed with the usual morning chaos. Families shuffled with strollers, business executives tapped nervously on laptops, and flight attendants marched briskly with polished smiles. Among them, a young black teenager named Darius Cole stepped forward. His business class boarding pass clutched like treasure. At just 17, he had earned it. His scholarship win and debate championship had bought him this moment of recognition. Today, he was determined to carry his heritage with pride. But pride would soon collide with cruelty. As Darius approached the jet bridge, a uniformed flight attendant named Carla Myers stepped directly into his path. Her eyes darted to his dreadlocks, narrowing with disgust masked behind corporate authority. Passengers slowed, sensing something unnatural in her tone, as she said loudly, "Excuse me, young man. Your hairstyle doesn't meet the grooming standards for our premium cabin." Darius froze. "Grooming standards?" His voice cracked, confusion spilling into the terminal air. He held up his boarding pass, clearly marked Seat 2A. "My hair is clean. I don't understand." Carla smirked, pulling out a laminated card with vague language about appropriate appearance. Around them, heads turned. Conversations died. A few passengers raised phones to record. And then, with a chilling calmness, Carla reached into her service kit, pulling out a pair of scissors. "You'll need a trim before boarding," she said, her words dripping with false authority. "Otherwise, you're not flying today." The terminal went silent. The boy's hands trembled as humiliation pressed down on him like a weight. He glanced at the gate agent for help, but the agent froze, paralyzed by the uniform standing in front of him. Darius whispered desperately into his phone, trying his father's number, but the call rang unanswered. His second instinct was to call his grandmother. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he choked out, "Grandma, she's saying I can't board unless she cuts my hair. She's holding scissors. What do I do?" Her voice roared through his phone. "Don't you let anyone touch your crown. I'm calling your father right now." But Carla misread his tears as surrender. With a predator's satisfaction, she lunged forward. The first snip echoed like a gunshot. Years of growth, carefully maintained dreadlocks that carried the weight of his heritage, fell to the cold airport floor. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Darius stood frozen, paralyzed by shame, while Carla cut away pieces of his pride, strand after strand, until patches of his scalp showed beneath the butchered mess. Passengers whispered. Some turned away, too cowardly to intervene. Others filmed, their screens capturing the devastation of a child being publicly humiliated in plain sight. But not everyone stayed silent. From the crowd, a sharp voice erupted. "What the hell are you doing to that boy?" It was Renee Carter, a nurse and mother of 2 black sons. She stormed forward, fire blazing in her eyes. "His hair is his heritage, his crown, his identity. Who gave you the right to assault him with scissors?" Carla stiffened, clinging to her flimsy defense. "Company policy. I'm enforcing professional standards. Company policy." Renee cut her off, her voice rising with righteous fury. "Show me where it says you can cut a child's hair against his will. Show me where it says humiliation is part of your job description." The crowd grew louder. Phones recorded from every angle. Passengers murmured support for Renee as Carla's authority crumbled. And then came the moment that would echo around the world. Renee's hand cracked across Carla's face with a slap so sharp it silenced the entire terminal. Gasps erupted, followed by cheers. The slap wasn't just for Darius, it was for every child who had ever been told their natural hair was unprofessional. It was for every family who had suffered in silence. It was the sound of centuries of injustice meeting a wall of resistance. "Don't you ever," Renee thundered, "lay your hands on someone's child again. His crown was perfect before you touched it." Carla staggered, clutching her cheek, stunned for the first time in her career. But the damage was done, not just to Darius, but to her entire airline. Because by then, the videos had already gone viral. Within minutes, hashtags like "Hands Off Our Crown" and hashtag "Justice for Darius" were trending worldwide. Celebrities, politicians, and activists joined the outrage. News outlets scrambled to report the story. And in a skyscraper office across the city, Darius's father, Marcus Cole, received the call that shattered his world. His mother's voice trembled with anger and grief. "Marcus, they cut our baby's hair. That woman humiliated him in front of everyone." Marcus's chest tightened, fury rising like a storm. This wasn't just any father. He was one of the most influential black executives in the aviation industry, a man with the power to dismantle companies with a single phone call. And this time, it wasn't business. It was personal. In minutes, Marcus was on the phone with airline executives, federal regulators, civil rights attorneys, and national media. His commands were swift and devastating. "You have 7 minutes to fire that woman, issue a public apology, and prepare for the lawsuit of the century, or I will shut your company down." 7 minutes later, Carla Myers was terminated. By nightfall, the airline's stock plummeted. Federal investigations opened. Civil rights lawsuits were filed. Sponsors pulled out, and Marcus Cole's voice thundered through boardrooms and news cycles. "You attacked the wrong child. And now, every airline in this country will face the consequences." The fallout was immediate. Policies rewritten, laws strengthened, and Carla's career obliterated. But the true victory wasn't in boardrooms or headlines. It was in the airport embrace where Marcus whispered to his son, "Your crown will grow back stronger." If this story shook you, don't just scroll past. Take action. Smash that like button. Share this video so justice is never silenced. And drop a comment with where you're watching from and which moment hit hardest. Subscribe now, because more stories of truth and power are coming.